during the program here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, and let's talk about an event that is near and dear to my heart. It is the Trolley Run. It's coming up this Sunday, 8 o'clock. It is a great event that benefits CCVI, the Children's Center for the Visually Impaired, and we're fortunate enough to be joined by the chairman of the Trolley Run Committee. Dail Blake is with us. Dail, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you taking the time for us for an incredible event.
Yeah, it is an incredible event. It's an event that I've participated in, which tells you that there's a challenge to it in any road race, of course, but it's clearly not the toughest race. This is one that's about raising money for a lot of kids, and one of those kids back in the day was mine, the Children's Center for the Visually Impaired. Let's start there. Tell people what CCVI is. How many kids do they help? How old are they? What is it that CCVI does, and why this race is so important for them?
So CCVI has been around for 75 years here in Kansas City, and the Trolley Run 37 of those years. Each year, about 350 families benefit from CCVI services. And those families, and we're talking about, a very broad range of age, infants and toddlers in their home with the parents. There's preschool at the CCVI Center, and then they've got pre-K through grade 12 and beyond partnering with the school district. Over half of those students live at or below the poverty line. So there's a lot of families that are coming in that, they can't afford a tuition, for this sort of program, but they are not turned away. 85% of what a child learns before the age of 5 is through sight, which makes intervention critically important for their educational success. And so, reducing the barriers for entry for these kids to get in and get this kind of support is just critically important. And someone participating in the Trolley Run is making that possible for these young kids and these families.
It is the single biggest fundraiser for CCVI, correct?
Yes, sir.
And listen, you mentioned the number of families that are out there. How many of those families, there is a tuition that's involved in it, but how many of the families are not able to pay that tuition, and what happens when that is the case?
About half of them can't, if they're at or below the poverty level. And so the funding from CCVI that they get, we raise money privately through the event like the Trolley Run, pays that tuition, so those kids don't have to, these kids are being told no enough in life, and they're not going to be told no when they come to CCVI.
I can't stress how important CCVI is for kids that are visually impaired enough. I am fortunate that we are going to be going to my daughter's graduation from high school coming up, and her education began at CCVI, and I tell this story, and I tell it with great pride. The single biggest mistake that I have ever made in my life was listening to others that said, people that were supposed experts in the field that said my daughter didn't need to learn Braille. And it's shocking, not the first time and certainly not the last time my wife said, they're wrong. And I said, well, they're experts. She said, you're wrong. So it was one of many, many times my wife has been right and I was wrong. She said she needs Braille. We need to jump on this right now. She has a degenerative eye condition, so she had some vision at that time, and so people were trying to take the easy way out and say she didn't need Braille. And we had her evaluated. CCVI said, yeah, she's going to need it because her vision is going to get worse, and you need to start now. It's much easier when you start right now. And I told my wife, I'm like, these people are experts. Like these other experts over here say she doesn't need it. Basically being a parent, and that's what I wanted to hear, right, as a parent. But what I needed to hear was what CCVI was telling us. She needs to learn Braille, and the sooner she learns it, the better she's going to be. And I give a ton of all the credit in the world to my wife, first and foremost, for being the voice of reason and for doing the research and having the knowledge and understanding what was going on. And she won. She said, no, we're doing this. And it opened up my daughter's mind. She, took to it, loved it, enjoyed it. And I cannot stress that. I don't know how much of her success academically has been, due to CCVI, but it's a ton of it. I am terrified to think of where she would be if we had not started her at CCVI, and that's the mission that they have, Dail. And every single day they're helping children. And I've stressed this. I think it's something like and my stats are old because it's been a long time since I've looked this up, but more than 70% of visually impaired people are unemployed, right? But of the visually impaired people that know Braille, that get this kind of training, more than 90% of them are employed. I mean, it literally is the line between success and failure, between an individual that's paying into the system. In other words, employed, paying taxes, versus someone who cannot get a job and is simply getting money from the system. I mean, it is vital. Like I tried to tell somebody once, look, you can either do it for the children or do it for yourself, because it's less money that the children will take out of the system if they are Braille literate. If they get this kind of schooling from CCVI early on, they are immensely more likely to be a productive member of society, not to mention their overall, mental health, their self-confidence, and everything that comes from it. But it is vital. CCVI is where it all starts, Dail.
Well, and you that's a great story. And when you've got the confidence, when you know how to read, which Braille allows that to happen.
Yes.
It just opens up everything else. And I heard someone once say in a different context that, they weren't sure if what they learned there, in a different context, not CCVI related, but they weren't sure if what they learned there allowed them to do what they did, but they know that without that education that they got, they wouldn't have even tried.
Yeah. Yeah. We're talking.
So the things that your daughter's getting to do, she's trying because she knows.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. We're talking to Dail Blake. He's the chairman of the Trolley Run Committee, great friend of the program, great, I'll call you a philanthropist, Dail, because I know you give a lot of time and energy and work with a lot of different causes. Chairman of the Trolley Run Committee. It is a fantastic cause. Listen, we're talking about a 4-mile, flat to downhill run. It's at a great spot. You go from Waldo to the plaza, so you can park on the plaza, ride. You got a bus, right? That'll take everybody up to the start, so you can run down to your car, walk down to your car, correct?
Exactly.
So
you run back to your ride.
Yeah. Sunday at 8, we got some refreshments when people finish. I know I always got good snacks the last time. Every time that I've run, I've had it. It's been a couple of years since I've run, but there's always refreshments at the end, correct?
Exactly. And, and the weather's going to be terrific, too. I don't know if you've looked at the forecast, but it's supposed to be around 55 degrees at start time at 8 o'clock. So it'll be a nice, cool morning that is not going to feel too strenuous as you're running downhill. In fact, the 50s, are kind of perfect running weather. So it's going to be a beautiful morning to take advantage of this. In past years, there have been times I've had to stand out in the rain, waiting for the start line. Not a problem this year. It's going to be nice and sunny, and it's just going to be a beautiful morning. Like I said, it's flat to downhill. So if you're wanting to set, a personal record for yourself, chances are high you're going to do that. Plus, we've got another little feature in the run this year, the timing company that helps us with the timing for the race. They are incorporating another mat out at the 3.1 mile mark. This is a 4-mile run, which is greater than a 5K. A 5K is 3.1 miles. So they're going to put a mat out at the 3.1 mile mark so that people that might be wanting to set a personal record in the 5K will have it official through the timing company too. So there's extra little feature to the race there. But it's just a beautiful race, and you run through the Brookside neighborhoods,
yep.
And the neighbors come out and they're cheering you on. They got the cowbells and everything. There's even a couple of guys that come out with plates of bacon. So if the cup of water, the cup of Gatorade there at the 2-mile mark is not your thing, you don't need that sort of refreshment. Somewhere along the line, you might encounter somebody offering you a piece of bacon or two. Yeah. So it's the support from the community has just been fabulous, from people participating, people creating teams to participate, but the people along the race route too. We really owe a great deal of gratitude because we're disrupting their morning life there for a little bit. They can't pull out of their driveway for a couple of hours, so they make do and they come out, and there's people out there with boom boxes and things like that playing music along the way, and bacon. Come on.
Yeah.
If you've got somebody doing that for you too. That's what greater love is that?
Yeah, it is. It is a great, great event. You can register right now. Go to trolleyrun.org. That's trolleyrun.org. It is Sunday at 8 a.m. Dail just said it. The weather's going to be great. You run from basically Waldo through Brookside down to the plaza. It's a great run. The people are great. I do remember all the cowbells. And, listen, you can make it as competitive as you want. I know the folks up front will be going for times and everything, and that's awesome. But if you're just pushing a stroller, because I've done that a number of times, pushing a stroller through that run, you're welcome as well, and you'll find lots of friends there. It's a great event. It benefits CCVI, the Children's Center for the Visually Impaired. This is their largest fundraiser. You are helping your community. You're clearly helping these children, these family. But I'm going to tell you, overall, you're helping society as a whole as well. So it's a great chance to give these kids a great start. They do such great work at CCVI. Dail, thank you so much for sharing this with us, and we'll keep reminding people the rest of the week. Sunday, 8 a.m. for the trolley run. Thanks for sharing this, Dail. Thanks for all you do here for Kansas City, and look forward to talking to you on down the road.
Thank you so much, Soren. You have a great weekend.